Sleep systems. Am I right? When you're new to backpacking and camping, the mere phrase can be, well, intimidating. Like, what does that even mean? Sleep system. And even if you do understand the outdoorsy jargon, there are so many things that new, even experienced backpackers do wrong with their sleep systems that can result in nights spent shivering, tossing and turning, and just, you know, sleeplessness in general, which is zero fun, sir. So let's talk about 5 things beginner backpackers do wrong with their sleep systems and how to fix them so you can actually get some rest on your next excursion. So let's start at the top, shall we? As in, what the heck even is a sleep system? It's actually very simple. Sleep system is just a fancy outdoorsy way of describing your whole sleep setup, i.e. your sleeping bag and sleeping pad, or pads, but we'll get to that in a minute, and perhaps a pillow. And the first mistake a lot of newbies make is not thinking of that stuff as a whole system. Sure, they're individual parts and pieces, but when you're sleeping outside, it's super important to think of everything as working together, not just as a simple checklist. As in, don't fall into the trap of being like, okay, got my sleeping bag, got a sleeping pad, got a pillow. Check, check, and check. Ready to go. Because all of those things work together to keep you warm and comfy. The second mistake outdoorists make, yup, even experienced ones, is trust their sleeping bag temperature rating. Because listen, it's complicated. Because that big number printed right there in the name of the bag, it probably doesn't mean what you think it means. And I don't know about you, but my goal when I sleep outside isn't just to not freeze, it's to sleep well, so. Which means when you're picking out a sleeping bag for a trip, you need to look past that big bold number and check the tag or the manufacturer's website. Sometimes ratings are even printed on the inside of the sleeping bag, and look for the comfort limit temperature rating, which might be 10 to 20 degrees higher than the advertised temperature rating. It really just depends on the bag. For example, this 35-degree Sierra Designs nightcap has a lower limit rating of 29 and a comfort rating of 39. So the advertised temperature rating is right in between those two. On the other hand, this Rab Solar Eco 10-degree bag has 3 ratings: an extreme limit, which is negative 17 degrees Fahrenheit, a limit rating, which is 18 degrees, and a comfort rating, which is 28. Don't ask me where they got the 10. I really couldn't tell you. So what I'm saying is, if you want to be comfortable, don't just look at the advertised temperature rating. Look at all the ratings and select a bag based on the comfort rating, not all the other ones. And know that ratings are literally all over the place, depending on what brand bag you buy and what rating system they use. The third mistake backpackers make is assuming temperature ratings on a unisex bag are the same for men and women, because they're not. That's because on a unisex bag, not a women's specific version, the ratings are usually based on men's bodies, which tend to run warmer than most women. If you're a woman or a man who runs cold, getting a unisex bag, you may want to consider getting an even warmer bag than you think you do. Or if you do tend to sleep colder, opt for a women's bag, which does tend to have a smidge more insulation and also occasionally more room in the hips, which some of us don't need. The fourth thing beginners do wrong is bring the wrong sleeping pad, which is easy to do because there are a million options available out there and it's easy to assume that they're all pretty much the same, but they're not. What's more, sleeping bag temperature ratings don't exist in a vacuum. In fact, bags are tested with and rated based on a pairing with an appropriate sleeping pad. And what appropriate means depends heavily on the season, because pads also have temperature ratings, though they're based on an R value system, like the insulation in your house. Why is that important? Because when you lay in a sleeping bag on the ground, pretty much any insulation you're laying on top of gets compressed and is no longer insulating you from the cold ground below you. So a sleeping pad keeps you comfy, of course, but it also acts as an insulator. So if you want your sleeping bag to perform as advertised, it's absolutely vital that you pair it with the right sleeping pad. In colder months, you need an insulated pad with an R value of at least 4 in order to stay warm, even if the bag says it's rated for the lows you're expecting. In warmer seasons, you probably only need a pad with an R value between 1 and 2. The higher the R value, the warmer the pad, by the way. So we'll throw a chart that REI published on the screen to help you figure out what R value you need for what season. And pro tip, if you want to boost your pad's temperature rating without paying the big bucks for a whole new pad, layer a closed cell foam pad underneath your inflatable pad for extra warmth. Finally, the 5th mistake beginners make is neglecting to think about a pillow. Most folks use one when they sleep at home, so chances are you're gonna want one for camping too. But pillows can be tricky. Some don't fit inside the hood of your mummy bag, so you have to place them between your bag and your pad, which I find annoying, frankly, because I toss and turn a lot and my pillow frequently yeets to some vacuum within the tent, and I don't find it again until I pack up the next day. So if your pillow doesn't fit in your bag, consider getting a sleep system from someone like Sea to Summit, a brand that includes hook and loop stickers with their gear so you can secure your pillow to your pad and it'll stay put all night. Or add some hook and loop stickies yourself. And if you're looking for a pillow, we'll throw a link to that video we did in the description below. I'm just saying, try your pillow out with your whole sleep system, figure out what works for you, and just go with that. Listen, I know this may sound complicated and convoluted, but take a few trips and you'll get the hang of it. Just remember, get a sleeping bag based on its comfort rating, not its lower limit rating. That R value matters when picking out an inflatable sleeping pad. Women often sleep colder, and pillows are important to consider when getting comfy. And if you still aren't sleeping warm, well, I cannot underestimate the beauty of cuddling with an Nalgene filled with hot water. Highly recommend it. Now that you hopefully have at least kinda an understanding of how the whole convoluted rating system works, you can build your whole sleep system with confidence. And also, not freeze to death on your next camping trip. Always important. As always, if you have any questions about sleep systems, drop them in the comments. We're happy to answer. And then, pretty please give this video a thumbs up and hit subscribe. You wouldn't want to miss any more helpful videos, would you? Then follow along with Terradrift on all the social channels and watch some more of these rad videos. Then sleep comfortably, also warm, and get out there and wander on.